This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's so awesome. We've got Ram and Shiba here, the proud new owners, and Haley too, of course, of a fantastic new home. And it was a journey to get there. And you guys were troopers in your pursuit and your stamina. And I commend you for that. And I would like, there's other people out there who might be a little bit afraid because it is so competitive in San Francisco. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and kind of what you would say to somebody who might be a little trepidatious?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
I would say I know everybody asks you to be patient, but you don't realize patience could sometimes even mean a year or 2 years, right? And it's different for each person, each couple is different, because I think you both have to kind of first align on what you both want, and then kind of go on this journey together where you're making compromises, you're making pro-con lists and trying to figure out what is the thing that you're going after. So you need a lot of patience, and especially if you're doing it with your partner, and especially if this is your first big step, taking something doing something like this together.
It's a massive purchase. It's not
Yeah,
you're not
I would say
buying a record.
Yeah, and culturally, where we come from, you don't just take on debt just like the way you take it on in America. It's a huge cultural shift for us too. So that took time for us to wrap our head around and process what it means, right? Because it means a lot of things, like stability financially, just life decision wise. If you ever wanted to pick up and live in Germany, you probably won't be able to do it after you buy $1 million house. So I think some of those things, wrapping your head around some of that. So I think just being patient and not being so hard on yourself helps, because you realize you will figure it out, and there's people on the way to figure this out with. And I feel especially initially, Haley was kind of our therapist, where we would be we were looking at homes and we were yeah, but what do we really want? And you're kind of going through the whole thing with somebody. And yeah, I feel patience is important.
Well, we always would say, and the constant line of patience and stamina, and it wins out. It wins out. But it's hard to understand what we mean by that until you're actually in it, and you have to actually go, oh my God, this is what I have to do. So
Yeah.
I'll say about
sorry, go ahead.
Just that you kept your gunpowder dry when you knew you needed to, in terms of you weren't just sort of throwing offers out there and everything. You were very particular and careful about keeping your stamina up by not fatiguing yourself offering on everything you saw. And hopefully that ended up with you feeling like we got the one we were meant to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny because at work we say this a lot to the people on our team, where we are always conserve your energy for when you need it. But I feel it's much harder, and it's so tempting, especially in this market where you see so many offers coming in, and you're oh, I want to be the one putting an offer. But it's sometimes you just stepping back helps. And I think that's what we did around August, July, August, where we consciously took a step to not look for a couple of months. We had to move into a new place. And that helped a lot, to not look at this thing that was occupying our life for so long. And and we were pretty okay with even accepting that, okay, maybe something won't work out, and that's fine. Maybe we'll just take our time to figure this out. And then, as always, on a Saturday, I was on Redfin and this thing popped up. And then we were back in the zone. But yeah.
And then with all of the places that you kind of looked at and everything, how do you, what emotionally, how do you feel about the property that became yours and that is your house now?
Wow, this one's a tricky one, because each home we viewed, and this was also during the pandemic. Like, we started viewing when things were getting locked down, and open houses were no longer open houses. We had to like book appointments, and that's why also how we got to uh, learn a lot from both of you in that process. But each home taught us something. We were learning new things along the way, and at least by the fourth or the fifth home, we kind of knew what we exactly wanted, where we were willing to compromise, where it was okay to kind of, give in and say, yeah, maybe this house has potential. We can redo a bunch of things a couple of years down the line. That clarity came up only after a couple of months of viewing. It was also new to us. Like, we were learning how real estate works in the US compared to, say, back home. And when this home happened, we weren't really expecting it at all. It took us completely by surprise, and we were kind of comfortable. We had given the whole process a break, and when we saw it, it was almost like rehashing all those requirements. Like, we had a list of 8 out of 10 things, and it met 8 out of 10 things, and we were like kind of shocked. We didn't know how to make sense out of that in that instant.
You're like, oh my God, this one fits, and it's going to break my heart like the other ones broke my heart.
Yeah, it was a total shock. But that process of viewing homes really helped us learn what we care about, what we valued, how to prioritize them. Because let's say 2 homes we saw had beautiful backyards, and the third home, it wasn't that great. It was okay. But then an okay backyard is any day better than a really good backyard where some of the other things didn't meet, didn't match up to the requirements.
Yeah.
So in the end, it balances and averages out. And that's what we kind of found with this process.
And then I think where Haley, we would have to put, I think it was on your 7th offer that you were successful. And lucky number 7.
Was it 7? Okay.
Yeah,
you're 7. So the six that were you got the unfortunate phone call that somebody was something higher.
When we saw
but a lot of times
I was like, they never time us. What is this? Like, is this their new way of telling us that we didn't get it? Like, that's not cool.
Because
we wanted to mess with you a little bit and just have that, and it was a beautiful moment. We have a beautiful photograph of that moment where we're telling you that you prevailed and you were successful, and to be successful on a house that kind of fits so many, like that just fell into checking so many boxes was tremendous. And a lot of times, would you agree when we say to people that in the end, the house that you get is really the house that you're most happiest with, the one that you're just like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't get those other ones? People don't believe us when we say that. Can you tell people that statement is true?
Yes,
absolutely.
It is 100% true. And I can say even more so because we recently found, like, the last 6 months, we were living in a rental 5 minutes away from this house. And in many ways, that was our first step to feeling even closer to, like, this is where we want to live. So we became even more sure of the neighborhood that we want to live in and the kind of lifestyle we wanted. So when this house came in, it was like a no-brainer. Like, we didn't think as much as we would have for the previous offers that we even put in. And I think that makes a huge difference. Like, I feel like maybe we needed to make that step. We needed to move one before we moved in.
I commend you guys for really like sticking to your guns. Like, throughout that process that you just described, you really identified what you were willing to compromise on and what you weren't, right? And what priorities shifted or didn't shift. And, but you were really, quite sure most of the time of like, you know, we're an 8 out of 10 or like we're here, and that can be hard to do. But I think in the end, like, I remember, Shiba, you said when you walked into that house, you felt like the energy and the vibe really fit. And that is so important. Like there's the checklist you have, but then there's also just like the feeling, right?
Yeah.
And there too, if that's something that you believe in or whatnot. But yeah, I'm so excited to see you guys sitting there and in your living room with your plant children and everything.
Yeah.
Our children are very happy in this house, I have to say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm kind of wanted to get in one last little question, because I know there was a little transition period too, because you were in that rental and then you to get out of the rental and into your house, and there was a lot of moving parts, and that was kind of difficult. And Ashiana on the team who does rentals on our end, I wanted to maybe put a little shout out for Ashiana, because I think she was tremendous in kind of how she was able to put everything together and get that all buttoned up and sorted out on the event.
We had chatted with her back in December, because she just like came and took control of the whole situation and just like got everyone lined up and like made sure this thing just like happened
Literally in a matter of days.
And like that is the speed at which Ram and I work on. Because we are just, for us, get back to you soon means reply to me in 5 minutes, and I feel like she's on that wavelength, and it just worked out for us so well.
That's awesome. That's
I think this also for people to think about is like, if you're in a rental or if you own a house and you want to rent it, to like really plan for some of these things, because we thought it would be easier to do it on our own, but we are not experts. We are not people who put stuff on Zillow and like rent it out and whatnot. So it helped. Like we still ended up paying some money, but at least we don't have to pay the extra money that we're doing. We might have had to.
That's awesome. So, and before we go, because you guys have been tremendous and I don't want to keep you too much longer and everything, is there anything that you would say to somebody that maybe, you know, if they were, something to encourage them to be like, you know what, this is something I learned, and go ahead and do it?
I would say trust Haley and Eddie, and they're the best.
Wealth of knowledge.
Yes, I mean, yes, and I feel like the thing that really drove it home for us was after we closed. It was, yes, we spent all this time with you guys looking and harassing you over the weekend and calling you day and night about all our questions. But I think the way you guys like wrap it up, and with all that knowledge and like all the, I know it's the small things, but like kind of the weekly. It's all the way to after, right?
I still keep
Ram
texting
still
Eddie.
harasses you, Eddie. So I think
I love it. You can text me forever.
We really appreciate that, because I think for us it's also just learning about what home ownership means and all the little things that add up, and to have somebody to like help you think through that process is really important. And you guys have been amazing with that. So I would say,
well, amazing things happen to amazing people. So you guys, you guys are awesome. It's been so much fun, and I know the journey there was ups and downs and stuff along the way, but it's we've made it to this point, and there's many more years of us to enjoy now with different stuff, our check-ins and all that stuff. So I'm so happy for you, and thank you for trusting us and working with us, and take care, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.